Well, good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
Wonderful to have you here with us in the beginning of this course that is going to be sponsored by the Colombian Equestrian Federation, and it's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
For many of our viewers that don't know much about dressage, Stephen is our FEI Judge General. He is also president of the IDOC, and he has judged many Olympic, Europeans, and many good and important shows. And we, all the judges, agree that he is the man around the world with most knowledge about judging dressage. So it's an honor for us to have you
Thank you.
at the start of this course. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
It's my pleasure.
We would like to just start with some very simple questions so that our viewers can start learning about what dressage is and how do we judge dressage. So my first question to you would be, what is the dressage horse supposed to look like? What are the judges looking for on a dressage horse?
Okay, that's a very good and very difficult question, because really I think the most important thing to understand is that dressage is about training the horse within its natural movements, and with systematic physical and mental training, the job is to try to produce a horse that is from nature correctly trained, so that its paces are first of all established in their regularity and freedom, and then gradually, as the training develops, so does the athletic ability and the beauty and expression of the horse that comes from correct training. We're not looking for anything artificial.
Thank you very much. And then the second question I would like to go with would be like, when you're sitting on the booth and when you're judging a test, whatever level it is, before you tell your secretary this is going to be an 8, or this is going to be a 4, or this is going to be a 10. Fortunately, you get to see a lot of 10 in your life. How do you reach that score?
Well, you find the score, the correct score, from the balance of, there's always something positive and unfortunately always something maybe a little negative in what we're seeing within each of the movements. And the task is to evaluate between the positive and the negative. And our job as a judge is to give a fair and honest mark and remark for every single exercise that the horse has to show. But it's all about criteria. You know, if a horse fulfills, the more of the criteria the horse fulfills during the exercise, the higher the score. The less the horse is able to fulfill the criteria, the lower the score. I can go into many details, but maybe that gives first an overall picture of how we find a score.
For sure, and I believe during the day we will go through many of those criteria, and we will talk about what are we expecting from each level. It's not the same what we're looking for in a first level test than in a Grand Prix test. Then the other questions I would like to make is, what are the judges responsible for?
They are there simply to score each movement correctly as it is, and to give, all the riders want is a fair score for every movement they produce. And if we do that, and then use the 4 collective marks at the end to give an overall balanced picture of what we've seen, then the results will be fair and correct. And with sometimes 3, sometimes 5, and a championship sometimes 7 judges, you will never get people to always see exactly the same picture. Never. It's impossible. But they should see a very close, similar picture, even if the marks sometimes vary a little bit. But the system, I think, is very good in that when you put that average together, even though maybe sometimes judges are a little bit different with their score or their placing, in the end, when you take that average and you look in the prize giving, normally 99 times out of 100 the order is correct.
Okay, you use the word fair, which I think is very important.
Yes.
So, if a rider one day is performing really bad, but he has like an average course of 50, 53, the judges have to give what they're watching, not to be like
Yes.
nice with the judge, with the rider, because poor person is going to come out with a very low score.
No.
We have to give what we see. Is that
Sure,
your comment?
none of us like to give low marks, and if I have to give a low mark, I'm not doing it to be tough on this rider. I'm giving the low mark to be fair to the better ones. You know? So if it's unfortunately requires a low mark, I have to give it. But the next day, if the horse is really good, then I give high marks.
That's very important. Thank you very much. Then my last question would be, how are we sure that our judges are being properly trained so that they can perform their jobs well?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because, to start with, I think people need to understand that the judges, first of all, come from a background. They're required to have written to a certain level in a satisfactory way, so that before they even begin being judges, they are experienced horsemen and understand the competition world and what is required. And then the FEI has a fairly rigorous training and examination program up through the levels, which does ensure that the judges are qualified to judge what they're seeing. Personally, I would like to always enlarge the training courses for the judges, and through the IDOC we're trying very much to work in cooperation with the FEI to see if we can develop and enlarge the training courses around the world, which I think has to be the way forwards.
Okay, Stephen, thank you very much for your thoughts. Thank you very much for your help. I think your opening remarks will be very important for this course. And on behalf of the Colombian Federation and our President, Cesar Camargo, we want to thank you for taking this time to talk to us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.